What are some of the symptoms? Because we have seen the trigger. Then what causes, or what are the symptoms when that bullet goes out? What happens? Your mind is under attack. If you look at that balloon, what do you think happened to it? How did it burst? Pressure. Pressure to an extent that it cannot hold it. It bursts. But a balloon is supposed to hold pressure for it to function. Not so? Human beings are supposed to hold pressure for us to function. We very well know statistically that when we are under positive pressure, we perform better. Right? I'm very sure when you're going to sit, you sit exams. Yes. That kind of small pressure will push you to read up to midnight or up to 3 a.m. Yet on a normal day, you can't even go up to 10. That kind of pressure is good. But there are 5 symptoms, and they attack us in different, or they manifest in different ways. The first one is the emotional state. This person is sad all the time. They are hopeless. They have no hope for tomorrow. They are living like nothing matters to them. Like, you know what? Besides, what is my purpose for living? The second is cognitive. This comes from our cognitive ability, the brain. We realize that our concentration rate goes actually down. We can't concentrate for even a minute. Memory loss, we can't remember anything. Somebody tells you and you're like, after a minute, you're like, what did you tell me? Because your concentration is somewhere else. Who can tell me the difference between concentration, attention, focus? We use these things interchangeably. Pay attention. Can you please concentrate? Can you please focus? What's the difference? Or you think it's English? It's English. Concentration simply means that you look at this thing and nothing else matters. And whenever you're concentrating, you're not learning. It's more or less of focus. Because the thing you're focusing on, I'm using a verb to define a verb, is the thing that is consuming your same energy that you want. In life, we are supposed to attend, pay attention. Attention is you drop everything you think you know and you're attending like officer trying to charge a suspect. You're asking questions like you do not know. Even when you know, but you're investigating, trying to ask. And attention simply means that you're listening to everything and trying to understand everything. If you're here and you're trying to doze, do you know what is happening to you? You're concentrating. Yes. You're concentrating. You're concentrating. You know what? Your energy, you're telling yourself unconsciously, I want to hear, I want to be here. But the brain is telling you, no, you cannot. You cannot. Paying attention simply means you are here. You're listening to the person coughing. You're listening to me, even the sound. You're listening to somebody pulling their shoes. You are attending to everything that is around you. And every time you are attending to something, truth be told, your energy is up high. Do you know why? There is flow of oxygen within you. The second, it manifests in our behaviors. We start to isolate ourselves. This officer who was so neat, so clean, poor hygiene hits in. He's a person who doesn't comb, he doesn't iron, he doesn't wash his clothes. You notice that there's something happening. Then some of them will get an accident to use substance. Maybe they start drinking too much, or they start smoking too much, or bring in other forms of smoking. Then physically, fatigue, you start to sleep. Not now, yeah? You start to sleep, you're fatigued. You lose appetite. This person who has, even when you call them for lunch, they're like, no, I'm okay. Stop and ask yourself what's happening. And finally, it manifests in our social well-being. There is always conflict to an extent that you look at somebody and you conflict, you hate, you're like, I don't like that person naturally. You overreact. Somebody tells you something small, you burst out. Those ones are many here. So what are the basic solutions? They fall 5 categories. Remember, what is your protective gear as a police officer? Are you just protecting your body? Are you just protecting your head? Or are you protecting your mind? Pay Turn to your neighbor and tap them and ask them, where is the mind? Who can tell me where the mind is? Your mind is around you. Around you. What you see, what you call to be in your mind, you're talking about your brain. Right? The brain is just a vessel. The one you see is just a vessel. Statistically, and researchers have never found a mind. It's like me saying, show me electricity. If I don't turn up with this, you'll go out and show me the wires. Not so. I was in the village the other day, and these MPs who are contesting came and said, you see, you guys, you have only trees and wires, but you don't have electricity. Me, when you put me into power, I'll bring you electricity. The brain is the wire. And the electricity is more or less of the mind. You don't see it. But you see the effects. If you turn on the light or the switch, it will light. You plug in your phone, it will charge. You put on the cooker, you will heat. So we only see the effects. So the first thing, we need to protect our mind behind the uniform. And the first thing we need to do, one, debrief your emotions. Every day before any activity, you are debriefed about it. Not so? You are? Before an operation, they brief you. And when they are briefing, what are they telling you? They're giving you the particulars, as Afanis earlier told us. The particulars of what you are going to do. Ladies and gentlemen, do you have the particulars of your own self? Can you catch yourself? Do you know the 56 thoughts that are running in your brain? Are you aware of the 27 emotions that are running in your heart? Are you aware of your physiology? If somebody tells you, Afande, you look like a Muslim, will you be offended?
No, yeah.
Because he is, right? Many of us, people have told us who we are, but we have hid away from who we are, trying to become who we are. I'm a Christian. If you read your Bible very well, remember that story of Adam and Eve and the snake?
Yes.
Listen, God tells them, you are created in my image and likeness. And the devil comes and tells you, do you want to be like him? He already told you. So you're trying to become what you already are. Identity crisis. And many of us cannot know ourselves to an extent that even when you look at another person, you can't see a person who looks like you. Has it ever happened? Have you ever seen a person who looks like your father? So, you have to be briefed about your emotions. Go back and know the 27 emotions. Do you know when you're about to get angry? Can you be talking to somebody and get to know like, this guy is now going to piss me off? Do you know? Or you're in a loophole. It's until you stand by and know the emotions and know what they actually mean, then you're able to control. You can't change what you do not know. So, be briefed about your emotions, about your thoughts. The second, watch out for signals. Like how you go out to watch out for suspects. You've gone on a mission, you've gotten there, you've been debriefed, you have all the guidelines, now you want to see. I watched a documentary about the capture, actually the death of Bin Laden. They say the President of the United States by then was briefed about the operation in detail and how it was going to happen. It didn't stop there. When the task force landed, it started to look out for suspects. Who is leaving the place? What car is coming in? What are the things around there? How many trees? How many camels are there? Suspects. Are you able to look for the suspects in you? And the suspects not outside. These things, the triggers that cause emotional instability. Do you know when you tell somebody I'm angry, do you know what anger is? Can you define it? Can you tell it? Or you just take it as a verb? I'm angry. I'm pissed. Can you name it? So it starts from your understanding that then the suspect is held. Not because he's held immediately, but you've been there watching and knowing how it comes and how it affects you. We say that it is not how you react that matters. It is what you do after the reaction. Do you take a moment to ask yourself, I think I talked badly about him, or I shouted at him, or I shouldn't have done this, so that you can polish your another endeavor. Do Do you know that? There is one famous book by Viktor Frankl. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. You should look out for it. Man's Search for Meaning. It's every human being's desire to find the meaning of life. And in that book, it's by Viktor Frankl. You remember he was a Holocaust survivor. He says that there is a big difference between stimuli and response. Not so. If I get a needle and pierce him, the way he will respond will be different. Why? Because there is stimuli. Not so. He says there is a big difference between stimuli and response. But in your response, in whose response? Say my response. In whose response? Lies the power not to change circumstances, but to change who you are. There is a big difference between stimuli and response, but in your response lies the power not to change circumstances, but to change who you are. Is this malleable? Yes. COVID hit. What did we do? Lockdown. Sanitize. Some of us were drinking it. SOPs. You know, we did not have the power to control COVID, but we had the power to control ourselves in a way of how we respond towards it. Every time somebody will shout at you, everyone will throw stones at you, people will fight you, but the power lies in how you respond. There is, our IT person can testify, in their field they have an acronym called GIGO. Is it G? Garbage in, garbage out. Many of us have become dustbins that everyone brings and dumps and dumps. Remember, whatever they dump in, you have to dump out. If your boss shouts at you now, chances are when you go home you're going to shout. Or when you meet another person who's subordinate, you're going to shout at them. Because you already have the negativity within you. Now you're looking for somebody to also offload. The third is bottling up. We saw the balloon. It is built to hold pressure. Ladies and gentlemen, many of us watched that big ship in 1945. They built, it was the largest ship at the time. And the constructors told to the world that even God cannot capsize the ship. Not so? And we saw billionaires and millionaires of the time, musicians, artists, whatever, everybody boarded on it, supposed to move from Southampton to USA. But we very know what happened. What happened? Which ship was that? Remind me, I'm forgetting. The Titanic. Remember, they said it was built that even God cannot capsize it. A ship, ladies and gentlemen, is built to sail on water. Yes or no? Yes. You are created to navigate this world happy and fulfilled thereafter. You think those are only in movies? In reality. But what happens to us? Why do we have the 14 million people mentally sick? The challenge is that just as how a ship is built to sail on water, it only capsizes when it allows water to enter it. If leakage, many of us have leakages. We have exposed our inner being, our brains and our hearts, that everything is coming in. For the ship it is water, but for us, emotions. And these are the emotions that make us statistics. If not checked, we sign out prematurely. So are you able to look at those emotions and ask yourself, you know what? Yes, this is not me. This is something coming outside of me. And this happens. Many of us as police officers, we have couples, or we work in pairs. Thank you very much. We work in pairs. Do you know why they get somebody to cover you up? They shouldn't only cover you up physically. Let them cover you up mentally. Can you talk to them? Are you able to open up and tell them, you know what, man? What we did today, yeah? That image, no, that girl that I saw, or that young child, or that man was. You know that we have two types of wounds. Imagine you go out there in the field, God forbid, maybe somebody shoots at you, hits your leg, and as you're trying to move, Your colleague looks at another person being hit by a car. As he goes to save him, he fails. One goes to the hospital to be worked on the wound, and the other is left free. Goes back to goes back to the place where they stay. Who do you think is battling more? Both. The one who has been hit will go to the hospital and they will attend to him because it is a wound that we are seeing. But the person who has bottled up, he has seen, will go back to other symptoms. They'll withdraw, they'll have nightmares, will be depressed, will be anxious because of the image that they took. And they don't have anybody to talk to. You see them in uniform, you see them with ranks and everything. But when they sit back, they're not themselves. That is the person that is battling the most because he's battling an invisible wound. So use the people they're in charge, or you're in charge of clothes, or your partners to help you survive. The other is change your lifestyle. Every time you're at battlefield or you're out in the field and it doesn't work, please, you very well know better than me, you have to change position. Not so? Change position because that position is not working. For example, if at times you're there on one corner, you're shooting, the suspect is not coming out, or this person is not. It is foolishness to keep in that position. Because when you change position, you change the movement in your mind. And what happens? You get new ideas. You see clearly and you focus. Just as how many of us had started to capsize, the movement has awakened us. Yes or no? Definitely. The fourth, you need to seek help, backup. You know, I grew up in Klembe. And during those years, we had the rebels. And it used to happen that at night, you'd hear these radio calls. You know, they are loud. Now, you'd hear maybe these soldiers were passing by our home, you hear bullets because they used to fight at night. You hear someone saying, Aroja, Sindika Buffalo. You know, these big guns. Backup. We all need backup. But let me tell you, it has become a verb. They only tell you, seek medical help. It is a process. How do you seek help? How do you call for backup? There are 4 patterns. 1, you need to acknowledge that actually there is something wrong. I've run out of ammunition. I've run out of bullets. My colleague there is something. Chitabu say, right? Acknowledge that there is something you're battling. Is the first step. The second step, be willing to take an extra step to go and seek help. Statistically, they tell us that the people that go to Tarika are the same people that go back over and over again. Do you know why? They don't go there willingly. Some are taken, and when they get there, they ask them like, "They brought me. I don't know what's wrong with me. This is the person who has a disorder, or this is the person who's mad," because they have not done it willingly. So you need to acknowledge. The second, be willing to take yourself there, or to seek medical help. And once you're there, it takes us to the third. Follow prescriptions. Follow orders. You know this better than I do. If you go to your home, and you walk in the living room or in your bedroom, and you have a drawer or a cupboard, and there are tabs or medicine, you are a statistic. If you leave this place, or as you're seated, now start imagining your house, and you have a cassette place where you put medicine. Now let's imagine in your mental ability, you open that drawer and see the medicine there. How many of you have opened? Have you seen medicine there? You are a statistic. Tap your neighbor and tell them congratulations. Congratulations. You know what? There are 2 things. You have expired medicine, or you have underdose medicine. That medicine does not work. Now, prescription. They give you Coatem. There are 24 tablets. You take 12, and you're able going, and you're like, let me keep those 12. When I again fall sick, I'll take that 12. No, that is underdose. Yes? Thank you very much. Takes me to the second. The medicine you have there is expired. By the time they prescribed it for you, you are supposed to take all of it. So you fall in the 80% statistics of people who don't finish their medication.
Told to be empathetic in whatever we do. We don't need to take work personal, like it has always been said. But other forms of training train us to be stoic, endurance. So you find that there is a little bit of confusion between those two. What would be your advice? Then secondly, I wanted you to try and tell me a little bit of, give me a little bit of an explanation behind the dream episodes, especially for people who claim to have deja vus.
If you don't understand the words, you cannot understand anything. So I'll go back and ask, what is a dream? Somebody says it's a perception. A dream, in the interest of time, is a continuation of your wake state. Simple as it can be. Your awake state, that's a dream. We're getting there. Now, we have two brains. We have the conscious and the unconscious. But we never talk about the third, which is the superconscious. If I was a pastor, I would come and tell you, by the way, I've seen tomorrow, all of you are going to be given added on ranks. And it happens. Maybe I have tapped on the superconscious, and tomorrow it happens. But many of us stick with the conscious and the unconscious. Now, for us to break it down easily to understand, my father is a farmer, very successful farmer. When the season comes, he will go to the market and get a seed. Let's call it a bean seed or a maize seed. He will buy for the best maize seed and he will plant it. Not so? The conscious brain is him going to look for the seed. When you are awake, you have 5 senses. All those senses are feeding your brain. Right? That is the seed. When he plants it, many of us think that he has killed the seed. Little do we know that he has given it what? Life. When you go to sleep, ladies and gentlemen, you are planting that information you gathered during your awake state. The challenge with us human beings, we forget when we planted those seeds. That's why you watch a movie today, and at night, when it goes to the subconscious immediately, at night you dream about it. Yes or no? Sometimes, or it comes in due season when we have forgotten when we watched that movie. So what happens is that the subconscious is the ground that picks over the seed. Do you know when the seed is going to sprout out? You can't understand the word. Emotion, energy within you. Intelligence comes from still a Latin word which is interregere. Simply put, read between the lines. As simple as it is. Newton read between the lines. Why is the apple falling and the moon and the sky does not fall? Archimedes read between the lines. Are you able to read between the lines by stopping and asking yourself, I think I'm going to shout at this person, or this person is going to make me angry? Now, in that process, that's when we say you are an emotionally intelligent person, because you can read between the lines and control the energy that flows within you. Thank you.